Is CBS crashing and burning? Or they're just bleeding money and they got to do something about it? CBS Morning canceled co-host Michelle Miller, Dana Crosby, and they are out, sources say. What's going on? You think it's because they've been too liberal? Nah. Is it that? I don't know. CBS Morning is poised to become the first major casualty of the sweeping cuts hitting CBS News on Wednesday, the Post has learned. The 28-year-old show, damn. We all know Cabrera got the boot too. I guess at the end of his contract this year, he's done. They were just losing money. Nobody's watching it. Which airs nationwide on Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Let me get this in here so y'all can see the whole thing. And has been slated for cancellation by CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss and the network's president Tom Sabrowski. Sources close to the situation said, somebody got the scoop. Co-anchors Michelle Miller, Dana Crosby, and the show's executive producer Ryan Applegate have been informed of the show's cancellation and are on their way out, sources close to the situation said. Look, there they are. Hey, hi, we're leaving because we're too damn liberal. It couldn't immediately be learned when the final episode will air, including whether the show will broadcast this coming Saturday. It was also unclear whether CBS will seek to revive the broadcast in another form. It's possible, unless they try to go more of a conservative lean. I don't know. Sources close to the situation noted that CBS's new bosses, Weiss and Kowalski, who have been taped by CBS owner Paramount Skydance to overhaul the Tiffany network, decided that the show was just too damn expensive. It was just too expensive. No, we can't have that. The show, which is broadcast out of New York, has been in its ratings slipped 10% in total views to 1.9 million and 20% in the 25 to 54-year-old demo to 300,000. Damn, that's brutal. Sources said CBS is also canceling CBS Morning Plus, a show co-hosted by Andrea Days and Tony Darby, I don't know how to say that name, who has been tipped as a leading candidate to host the CBS Evening News. Wonder if he'll get that, according to one source. Friday will be the last broadcast of that show. They're done. The show, which aired in certain markets and streamed from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on weekdays, was the brainchild of a CBS News CEO, Wendy McCaughan, who exited earlier this year. Well, that's your problem. You had this dumb liberal woman produce her brainchild. Epic fail. Epic. Yeah, take the L. CBS is also nixing CBS Evening News Plus, a streaming offshoot of CBS Evening News. Wow, we need another CBS News, and we'll just call it Plus, because the first one just wasn't enough, was it? Whose co-anchor John Dickerson recently announced he is leaving the network at the end of the year. It is widely expected that his co-host Maurice Dubrow, who also exited. So, what? Is it canceled because he said he was leaving, or he already knew and he's just going to leave? A rep for CBS News declined for comment. Nope. Nothing to see here, people. The changes come as CBS parent Paramount Skydance is laying off roughly 1,000 people on Wednesday. I wonder how many of those jobs were in New York. I wonder if they're preparing. Even the libs don't like their own policies. So they got to move somewhere else. Rush Limbaugh used to say, yeah, libs destroy an area and then they leave and go to another area and then bring their shit and destroy that. They're like a parasite. like cockroaches. The first phase of sweeping layoffs that will ultimately eliminate about 2,000 positions as CEO David Ellison pushes to trim $2 billion in costs. My God. My God. They must have been bleeding money, guys, for a very long time. Because we all know PMSNBC, they've had to reshape. Now they have, what's her face, Maddow. I think she's on once a week, but hell, they still paying her millions of dollars. But they've had to redo stuff too because they're just bleeding money. CBS News staffers have been bracing for major changes under newly minted editor-in-chief Barry Weiss, who sold her constituents news site, The Free Press, to Paramount Skydance for $150 million. She'll go on, take the money and run. I guess she was a smart lip, I guess. She, along with President Tom Brzezinski, have been looking at ways to reshape the network by cutting expenses, correspondence, and shows in order to refresh the network and bring in new talent. No. You need to stop with the woke crap. You need to stop being so far left. You need to report the news. Maybe go agenda free. Just report the news. That's it. Or maybe have a couple of shows in that you have opinions, but you need to have balanced opinions. That's people want to hear a balance of opinions. I mean, nobody wants to hear Trump's a dictator, Trump's a Hitler 24 hours a day. It just doesn't work. It's stupid. It's stupid. I mean, I wouldn't want to sit there and when Biden was in office or if Obama was in office, just hear people just rip on him all day. I'd turn it off. I would. I already know he's tearing up the country. I don't need to hear you just ripping him by calling him names and stupid crap like that. I mean, either just talk about the policies and what policies could be better to fit in his place. That's what I'd rather hear. And also hear the other opinions as well. Even if it's on the left, I would like to hear both opinions. As recently reported by The Post, that includes revamping storied news magazine 60 Minutes and beefing up the investigative reporting at CBS. Women like these kinds of shows. Investigative reporting, forensic science, forensic files, murders, like unsolved mysteries, things like that, DNA files, whatever. Women like that stuff. And 60 Minutes used to be pretty good. Sometimes they have a good, but they were still left. They're still left. Weiss, 41 years old, was taped this month to restore balance to the Tiffany Network's news unit, according to Elson. And insiders say she believes 60 Minutes has drifted too far left, as reported by The Post. Well, you think? You think she's too far left? I think so. This is the problem with these networks. They just went too far left. But you still have AOC, Steinberg from Virginia, Gavin Newsom, California, Johnson, Pritzker from Chicago. You have Tampon Tim. You still have this core doubling down left-wing libtards sticking to their guns. But this is so refreshing. This is so refreshing that they have to cancel these shows because nobody's watching them. Nobody's watching them. So what are they going to replace it with? Let's just try to be moderate. Why don't you try just reporting the news? Why don't you have point, counterpoint? Have somebody on there who's from the left and have somebody on to the right and you know, talk about the issues. Get some viewpoints. Have a libertarian on there. Good God. I mean, it's not that hard. Report factual news and then talk about it. Factual news. Not leaving shit out. The news. Like it's agenda free. Then have a panel to discuss it. Or have two people. Or whatever. But it needs to be balanced. And it needs to be coherent. You need to have some people who can frickin' talk. I don't know. That's just my little tidbit on a little quickie. CBS Saturday morning cancellation. And it looks like they are cutting over 2,000 jobs from CBS to save $2 billion. It is quite refreshing, and it will be something to see. Or what are they going to replace it with? How are they going to fix this to get people to view them? Nobody's watching cable TV anymore. Nobody's watching the big three. They might as well just go to podcasting or have a YouTube channel. I'm serious. It'd probably save them a ton of money in overhead if they just put their shows on YouTube, Rumble, whatever. All these different avenues for social media, because you saw in the article it went down from 1.9 million to 300,000 because nobody's watching TV anymore. Who the hell is buying cable? Who's paying for cable? It's insane to me. Cable's obsolete now. The dominant force in news is social media. There you have it.